How's it hanging, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today, I'm going to be going over all of the movies I watched last month in June 2023 because I like making these kinds of videos where I kind of get to look back on the month and talk about all the movies I saw. Of course, not strictly talking about 2023 releases. We're going through just every movie I watched. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump on into this, starting off with The Old Way. Now, this movie is pretty recent, came out a few months ago, starring Nicolas Cage. And it is a Western. And if you know anything about me, I really like the Western genre. And this is a very low-budget film. Apart from Nicolas Cage, there's not really any big-name actors in the movie. And it just, you can tell it feels low-budget. And weirdly enough, that's kind of the charm of the film. It didn't blow me away necessarily, but this movie did get some pretty bad reviews I saw, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't think it quite deserves that sort of negativity, but yeah, it wasn't amazing, but I liked it. So yeah. Anyway, next I saw Cobra from 1986. Very random movie, but for some reason it piqued my interest, starring Sylvester Stallone, of course. And it is a very 80s movie. It's got a great soundtrack as well. A bunch of 80s songs, of course. And, there's some decent action sequences in here, but it really doesn't do anything super special. Sylvester Stallone's obviously great as always, but yeah, it was fine. Then I saw Blackberry, which surprisingly enough has become, I think, one of my favorite films of the year so far. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, highly recommend it. I feel like not many people have, or at least not enough people have seen it. I know there's a decent amount of those of you who have seen it, but it's just really good, and I thought it was very intriguing, and also got a great soundtrack, to be honest, and it's quite comedic as well, and yeah, it was just very interesting. I thought it was a very enthralling watch, to be honest, and actually quite sad in a weird way, especially towards the end of the film, just with what happens with Blackberry, of course. And if you don't know what a Blackberry is, first of all, then maybe you shouldn't watch it. I knew what a Blackberry was. I feel like there's a lot of people out there now who don't even know what Blackberries were, which is kind of sad. But anyway, next I watched Inside, starring Willem Dafoe, and probably the most underrated film of the year so far. Don't see many people talking about it, and when they do talk about it, it's kind of like a lukewarm reaction I've seen. But I really enjoyed it, and I think a large part of the reason I love it so much is that I just like survival stories, and it's basically Willem Dafoe's character gets trapped in this New York penthouse and has to survive and be resourceful and use all the stuff in the penthouse to survive. And I don't know, I just thought that was interesting to me. I will admit, it's kind of goofy how he gets trapped in this. I don't understand really how he was able to get trapped in this penthouse and how he, it was kind of weird. I don't know how he wasn't able to have contact with, the outside world, and it was just kind of strange, but it was still pretty good, and they play a Radiohead song in the credits, so that's got to count for something. But yeah, really good movie. I liked it. Next, I watched Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, because this is a movie I actually thought I had seen before. But as I was watching it, I realized I probably was confusing this movie for another Batman show or comic or something, because I don't really remember this movie that much, and I thought I had seen it when I was younger, but I don't know. It was really surprising to me that I didn't remember a lot of the stuff that went down in this movie, because it's a good movie. I liked it. Of course, I love the Terry McGinnis character. He's interesting, and this has one of the most interesting storylines that I've seen in a Batman animated movie. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece or anything. There's some people who really, really love this film, and I can understand, I guess, but to me, it was just solid and enjoyable. And yeah, really, it was cool to see this movie, because I guess I've never seen it before, but I thought I had, but I guess I didn't, but now I have. Okay. Next, I saw Fast X, and I talked about this film a little bit in my Fast and Furious ranking video, so I'm not going to talk about it too long here, but all I'll say is, loved Jason Momoa's character. He's a really good villain, to be honest, probably the best villain in the Fast and Furious films, and it left off on a really interesting cliffhanger, to be honest, and I am excited to see how this series, I guess, wraps up, even though it probably never will. It says it's going to wrap up, but who knows at this point. Anyway, next I saw Extraction 2, which got a lot of hype And there's a lot of hubbub online, I feel like I heard about this movie. Specifically with the like 20-minute one-take sequence, which admittedly is really impressive and well executed in my opinion. There are some very great scenes in this movie, I'm not gonna lie, but there are some people like comparing it to John Wick, and it's like, I don't know what kind of drugs you're on, to be honest, but it's not anywhere near the level of John Wick. There is some impressive stunt work and choreography that went into this movie, but on a story level, not that interesting. I also, hate to say it, don't think Chris Hemsworth is that good of a dramatic actor. I haven't really seen him in that many dramatic roles, though, like apart from these, I guess. So I don't know if I could really have a true opinion on his acting abilities when it comes to drama, but I feel like he's not that amazing when it comes to dramatic roles, but that could just be a hot take. But it's an okay movie. I'll be honest, there's a few boring moments in this film, so that's why I don't know, it didn't feel like on the same level of a John Wick film, you know. People are crazy. Then I saw Flamin Hot, another movie that came out this year about how something was made. Of course, I talked about Blackberry earlier, and then also this year we had Tetris and Air, and it's just funny how they're making a lot of movies about the origins of a product. And I'm not really complaining. I kind of like those types of movies. I find them to be interesting, and Flamin Hot is no exception. It was interesting and fun and inspiring, and it doesn't, again, do anything super special, but it was perfectly fine in my opinion. And I don't exactly know, which this is part of my issue, I guess, with the film. Apparently it's not like that true. It's somewhat based in reality from obviously a true story about how Flamin' Hot Cheetos were created, but apparently they took a lot of liberties to kind of create some, I guess, fiction in this movie, because it's not really accurate, I feel like, to how things went down. But it was all right. Then I saw Renfield, and I didn't really know what to well, I guess I knew what to expect in the sense that it was just going to be a comedy about Count Dracula and Renfield, obviously. And Nicolas Cage, again, is in this movie, and he's great as Count Dracula, to be honest. I really enjoy his performance. Wish he was in the movie a little bit more, though, but it's not really about him, admittedly. It's about Renfield, obviously. And Nicholas Hoult gives a fun performance. This is also one of the only movies I've seen Awkwafina in that is where she's not annoying. Because I feel like in most movies I've seen her in, no offense to Awkwafina, but she's annoying. I'm sorry. Then I rewatched Meet the Robinsons, and I'm still trying to get through all these, my rewatch of the Disney canon, because I'm trying to get through all the movies. I just want to. I don't know. I love Disney movies, I guess, but Meet the Robinsons is amazing. I love this film. It's a masterpiece, honestly, in my eyes. I really enjoy it. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in my Disney post-Renaissance era ranked video, which will come out hopefully soon. Then I rewatched Bolt, yet another Disney movie. I like this movie. I think it's, I don't know, kind of underrated. I think a lot of people kind of say that, though. But then there's some people who don't really care for it that much. But I do like it. Not as good as Meet the Robinsons, of course, but it's fun. And then I had to rewatch some Indiana Jones films, of course, for Dial of Destiny. And I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark again. Also a masterpiece. I love this film so much. It's really, really good. And this most recent rewatch just solidified it as truly one of the best films ever made. It's really damn good. Everyone already knows that, though. And then I rewatched Temple of Doom, which is another fantastic movie. I know it gets its fair share of hate, to be honest, which is weird, but I love Temple of Doom, to be honest. It is really good, and I don't think it's quite on the level of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Sometimes I think it's better, but watching Raiders and Temple of Doom back to back, I realized I think I like Raiders just a tiny bit more. But Temple of Doom's fantastic as well. And I'll try and rewatch Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull before I watch Dial of Destiny. But that's all the movies I was able to watch this month, which is a lot more than last month, actually. It's a pretty good amount of films. And yeah, a lot of good ones in here. And just some that were okay, but most of them were pretty good, actually. I didn't give a movie on Letterboxd anything lower than a 3-star rating, so that's pretty good. But yeah, post your thoughts and comments on all this down below and let me hear some of the movies you guys watched. Very curious to see what you guys watched. I love talking about this type of thing. And yeah, if you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Check out my Letterboxd and Twitter in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.